Depayan Banerjee from group number 1, and we'll do something different out here. So it's better to hear from the horse's mouth. So Rohit Sharma is the captain, but he cannot bat all the 50 overs. So we have certain specific points and experts here who would like to talk about that. So what I'd like to set the context setting that our topic was the key challenges. You know, we all have been in a time machine, and the time machine was nothing but the pandemic, right? Decisions we would have taken or challenges we would have faced. Many years later, we were forced to take those decisions a couple of years back, right? That made us think in a certain way because the current generation we are dealing with, who happen to be the talent or the prospective talent pool, are very, very unpredictable. The motivation factors are very different, very dynamic, right? And the biggest challenge is their attention span is very small. So there are three key aspects that we need to look at. First one being talent development and talent retention, which is way better than talent acquisition, because you've got to, the known devil is better than the unknown angel, there's a saying, right? So I would request Sandeep to please talk about the key points on talent development and retention.
Thank you, Dayapan. Good evening, everyone. So as leader of our group actually talked about 3 important parameters that we cover. I'll start with the first point, which is most important, is the talent development and engagement, employee retention. For us, from a business standpoint, we primarily deal with US SMB market. So staying afloat in last few years has been a challenge for our clients. So one of the things that we started when we looked at talent development is the precursor to that was create more opportunities for our people. So when we say create more opportunities, at the face of diversity, we look at opportunities, how can we help clients? So we came up with new business solutions, be it in terms of advisory services, virtual CFO services. We actually introduced services in terms of processing incentives for small business owners in US to help them stay afloat in business. While we do that, automatically the talent management initiative starts rolling up parallel in terms of upskilling your existing people, in terms of being able to train, develop capabilities to offer these new solutions, cross-sell the current talent in terms of what new skills that they can acquire, move them from one functional area to another functional areas. Some of the classical examples that we did is, our finance and accounting operations managers actually turned around and went to US in terms of becoming a consultant, advisor, and help those startup and SMEs in terms of how can be they profitable in the company. My developer, who was actually coding and sitting in terms of managing project management, actually went up to US close to customer, becoming a success manager, client success managers. So these are new roles we pushed in terms of cross-selling, in terms of career opportunities are concerned. At the same time, from retention, of course, compensation being one of the important aspects during this time. How do you renovate the compensation strategies? How do you align with long-term growth of the organization? Incentives, ESOPs were already existing, but we aligned in terms of how can they achieve broader business roles as we become more and more profitable. So profit-oriented compensation structures were aligned with every senior leadership team. Hypo development program was aligned back to this particular program. A lot of us also discussed some of the interesting avenues that we talked about, common initiatives that we learned about, doing internal job fairs in terms of, how do you publish opportunities internally in the organization, how do you allow talent to move across verticals. One of the very interesting initiatives that we also did is, while we were restricted not to go out of India in terms of business events, we actually created hosting our own business events. Like what we do here in Taj, we kind of have a big hotel where all the divisions put together their stalls. It's like walking into a big business event, and then all the employees get to know about what is happening in different divisions, product solutions, and how they would like to explore opportunities internally. So these are some of the high-level things that we talked about in terms of retention strategies, upskilling, cross-selling, aligning compensation strategies, and bottom line to all of this is create more and more opportunities for talent internally.
Great.
Hi everyone, I'm Satbir Kaur and I'm going to talk about remote and flexible work. So these are the terms very, very frequently we have been hearing, and we all know, we all have been doing this, and we all know that hybrid is going to be the way we work in the future, at least for the next couple of years. So we all know that this is a problem which started with a few circumstances, and now, good or bad, people have got used to it. So I know every one of us are facing challenges to get people back to work, but the main challenges have been about people moonlighting or people not being attentive, there's no collaboration, there's no sense of belonging to the organization. Therefore, we have run few initiatives such as collaboration workshops, making office open for convenience rather than making it compulsory for them to come in, having workshops for the leadership, for the change of mindset to adapt hybrid or flexible working, making few jobs totally remote so that we could retain some niche people. And then we have started doing all onboardings in office itself with the preliminary trainings that we provide to our employees so that people have that sense of belongingness to the organization.
Good. I'll request all of you, if you can be crisp, because this is going to lead. I've requested ADP to do a survey. Shrey will be giving away some forms to each team, each table. We want to come out with a white paper, if possible, based on this research and give it back to you. Because this is high-level intellect data, and we will have to take as much input as possible. Would you take a minute to consolidate, please?
Yeah. So I think one thing what we at Airbus did is we had a full clarity about what is the difference between equality and equity. And we said equality means equal treatment, uniformity, and one size fits all. But equity means fairness, customized support, and acknowledged disparities, right? So the key points what I would like to mention here is that organizations should be very confident about the difference between equality and equity. While organizations have to provide equal opportunities, they need to ensure that different kind of support is provided, and according to us, that is equity. We have taken some tangible initiatives and that really worked out. I'll give one example. We call it as Fly Again. It's a women returnee program. It took 1 week to launch the program, but actually to execute it took us almost 8 to 10 months because we had to go to ground, talk to each one of them to understand what are the real-time issues they're facing. And finally, we had taken lots of initiatives to ensure that the Fly Again program is well accepted. For example, even if you're coming with a work experience of 7 years and you have 10 years gap, we don't treat you as fresher. We will pay you at par with what a 7 years person gets, right?
Wow.
So these are some kind of things what we do. Yeah.
Great. All right. I will have to move away. Please applaud for this table. I'll have to move away from this table.